What up, everybody? My name is Bo Edisted with TechShed Co, and today we're going to be talking about internet security and the parameters of how to make your home safe and secure from the outside world and hackers. So without further ado, let's get going. So guys, like you said before, my name is Bo Edisted. I'm the owner of TechShed Co. We're going to be doing a bunch of little live videos and showing you guys how to set up an appropriate tools and features and hardware and stuff like that. Today, like I said in the intro video, we're going to be talking about internet security and some of the features that you can put in place for your own home protection, protecting your own devices, your smart TVs, your smart cameras, even if you have like a smart door lock, your doorbell system, thermostats. I mean, there's so many technology achievements that are now going inside your home. It's becoming more and more important to have a secured network and a secured internet access point. So it's very, very important. If anybody is thinking about starting to adapt into a smart home or start to integrate more and more technology inside of their home, they need to make sure they have a strong backbone. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that. But before I go too far into it, make sure that you click the like and subscribe button and hit that little bell so that you can get notifications of when I'm coming online and some of the new videos and some of the features that are coming up here in the next couple of weeks. Every week I'm going to be trying to introduce more videos on how to do appropriate things for your home so that you can get your tech game up and get some advantages in the tech world, and also to help you guys. When I opened up this company, it was we're here to help, and that is one of my big mottos is I'm here to help. I want to make sure that everything, if you have a tech problem, I want to make sure I'm there to help you and get you through those tech issues that you're getting and going through there. So if you have a tech problem and you want me to show you or walk you through or talk about a tech item that you're interested in, leave a comment in the description below and I'll do my best to respond and try to come up with a video for you guys of how to do this stuff. I've been doing this for about 13 years now, so I've been doing it for a long time and I know a lot about tech stuff. This is also my second live video on YouTube, so if it's a little not extremely professional, please forgive me. I am trying my best. So without further ado, let's jump into some of the content and some of the stuff we're going to be talking about today. So we're going to be talking about the TPLink router. Now, everybody has an internet router in their home, and this is how they broadcast Wi-Fi. This is how everything gets internet. This is how everything works in your house in order to connect to the outside world. Now, there are multiple different brands, but I prefer TP-Link, and then I'll tell you a couple of reasons why. One, most of their product has a lifetime warranty. Two, it's very, very solid. They just always works. It doesn't drop out. The firmwares are always on par. I haven't had one bad firmware in a TP-Link. Now, other people may have, but I haven't so far because I understand the maintenance that's required for them. What's also cool about these is you're able to incorporate an auto firmware update. Now, an auto firmware update saves the time for you to remember to go log into the router and to install the firmware. When a new firmware comes up, it automatically installs it. Now, some of you may be confused with, why do I need a router? Well, the reason why you need a router is to protect yourself where the modem, that's your internet provider, doesn't protect you. Those modems only have just the standard stuff inside of them. They're very, very low budget. They're not a whole lot of guts or bones to it. And plus the processor inside of it that tells the internet, I need to send this amount of information to this person and so on and so forth, are really, really weak. And you actually might be getting slower internet than what your internet provider is providing you. So that's another thing. This is called the Archer AC, I'm sorry, 1900. It's also known as the C9. They have it in white and they also have it in black. And what I have here for us to take a look at is just the Archer AC12. This is the model below it. Now you can purchase these from various different companies like Amazon and Best Buy and Walmart even, and it's really affordable. On Amazon I think it's like $72, and then for this model I believe it's even as low as like $28, $30. So, and this one only has a single core processor. The Archer AC9 and the AC1900, both the exact same thing, have a dual core processor and a little more features inside of it for processing lots of information. So if you have like a 4K TV, multiple 4K TV, you're into gaming and you have multiple smart devices, then you might want to take a look at the AC1900. If you have a couple 4K, you're streaming a little bit and don't have a ton of stuff that's on your network, then the AC1200 is an excellent router. I typically put these in the standard homes for people because, like, let's just say it's just two parents and 2 kids. This is great for that. Average person nowadays have about 10 to 15 smart devices that require internet connection, and that number is actually growing and growing as tech becomes more out there for people to use. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on in to setting up the router and then the contents that's inside of it and how to make it safe. So I don't know quite how to make this. You're going to see my OBS screen for just a minute, and there it is. That was the only way I knew how to do it. Like I said, I'm still learning and figuring out how to do this. So I'm inside the router right now. Very nice little screen here. Very it's got good colors. It's got a good intro. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to just log on into this sucker. Well, I said that. I should have checked this before I started all this. There we go. Of course, it's the default. For those of you who don't know, most TP-Links, the default password is going to be admin. So I can remember if I left the default or not. It's obvious that I wound up doing that. So I don't have this connected to the internet, but I am going to show you some of the features and some of the stuff that go inside of this type of setup. Real quick, let me go back here. I'm sorry guys, I am still learning on how to set this all up. I should have added my video capture so you can at least see my face as we are doing this, because I want you to still be able to know that I am still here and wanting to talk to you guys as we go through this. All right, let me go back. There we are. Now you can see my face a little bit. So still working on this, everybody. So what you see here is just a nice little basic router. I love the little basic setting that they have inside of their GUI. It gives you a wonderful topology. Now, topology is something that shows all the devices that are connected to your network. You can see your printers, you can see your wireless clients or your wired clients, what wireless you're doing, and any USB information that's in there, including your also see the internet portal, the hookup of what goes on there. So we're going to go on in here and we're going to show you some of the features. Now, we're going to jump into the advanced settings because that's where we can see a lot of the security parts. And there's a lot of different options here. You can see it on the left side of the screen. There are tons of little priorities and protocols that we can set up and so on and so forth. So right out of the box, when you get it, it comes with your own wireless. You can set up your own wireless settings. You can create it as you would like to. Let's just create this as TechShed Co. Wi-Fi, and you can create the password inside the security parameters a little later. So I'm just going to go ahead and save that. It's now changed that. Now we're going to go to the wireless security. Oh, a lot of people, WPS. WPS is where, let's say you have a device like a home printer or something like that, and that home printer is basically going to be connected to your Wi-Fi. Well, sometimes those printer, rather than going in there and entering the password on that tiny little screen that is provided, you can use a WPS. And what that does is on the back of the router, there's a little button. And on that button, it says, hey, I'm open and available to have a device connect to me. And then you go on the printer and click it too, and it searches for that open portal that the router is allowing for whatever device to connect to it. Now, there's good things about that and bad stuff about that too. Bad thing is that your neighbor across the street could connect to your Wi-Fi using that WPS at the same time. The odds of that happening at the same time is very rare, unless that person is literally stalking your house, which I pray that never happens for anybody. But anyways, getting back into here, we can go into the wireless security, where you would set the security of the Wi-Fi password. I am just left it at this generic. I won't tell you what it really is, but that's the Wi-Fi password right here. You can have the WPA personal, which is a great Wi-Fi encryption based, is the WPA 2PSK. There is also the TSK option, but that's going to be more in the enterprise grade WPA settings. This is great if you're going to set up multiple access points and have a radius server IP, which controls all of the wireless access points and wireless settings on every single device. Do not use WEP. WEP is too easy to hack. It's very, very easy to hack and very easy to get and stuff. And if you have anything that connects to your Wi-Fi using WEP, I recommend you get rid of it and go buy an upgraded model that works on WPA or 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi network. Now, there's also more things. There's wireless MAC address filtering, where you can allow and deny different things from having access. If you really want to make it secure, you can by setting up wireless MAC filtration. I have it automatically disabled. If you're a control freak, you can set that up. What is a MAC address? That's probably one thing a lot of people are asking. A MAC address is the address that is registered to the device. So it's not like an IP address where the router knows where to send information. It's actually the registration number of that device. That's what a MAC address is. So even if this person decided to connect differently onto your Wi-Fi, it still has a registration number and is still required to have it inside there. Wireless advanced. This is where you can control the power of the Wi-Fi. So if your power of your Wi-Fi signal is outside of your home too much and it's actually hitting the neighbor's house or stuff like that, then you can actually turn this down. Or if you're worried that you're starting to radiate and burn your memory cells because your router is emitting so much active radio frequencies, then you can actually turn it down. Believe it or not, these are small microwaves. Just saying, that's what it is. It's literally shooting electricity into the air for everything to connect. It's in a frequency that doesn't really harm you, but it is still emitting that, and some people are concerned about it. That's what I love about TP-Link, is you can actually adjust the power of the signal, and then also the threshold, so how many signals are being released out at a certain time. I wouldn't really mess with the threshold as much, but you can definitely change the power and the intervals of the beacon. That's not a problem. Okay, this router also has the 5 gigahertz frequency setup, so though that's great for 4K and for gaming. For those of you who have a 4K TV or gaming, or are using a 4K Amazon Fire Stick or Roku device or Apple TV, I strongly recommend that you set up your 5G Wi-Fi setup. It's not the 5G as in the 5G for 4G cellular or LTE data, but it is. I like Michael. But here's my local tech guy. Come on in here.
Oh my gosh.
How are you?
What? You're like... This
Yes.
is like totally different setup now. I have all the equipment.
I do have totally different equipment. Yes. Just starting on this little live stream and showing people how to do so.
Good. That's good. I'm so glad you're back.
Thank you.
I missed
appreciate
you.
it. I appreciate
You and I had a lot of fun.
We did have a lot of fun.
I don't know. Probably
Yes, you're about right there.
This is my belly.
No, you're good.
There we go.
Yes, we did have a lot of fun doing
We had a lot of
that.
fun. We're going to have a lot of fun now.
Yes,
that you're
absolutely.
back.
Now I'm back. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Well, hey, good luck to you, man.
Thanks, bud. Thanks.
Yeah.
I appreciate
Hey,
it.
everybody.
But that's Michael Woodruff. He does live streaming as well, and he actually has helped me in some of these ways. And he also does advertisement and everything else. So if you need some advice on how to do live streaming and stuff like that, go check him out at Michael Woodruff online. So moving on, we were talking about live streaming and the 5 gigahertz and so on and so forth. 5 gigahertz frequency is a wonderful Wi-Fi internet signal. It allows more information to be shot through than your typical 2.4 gigahertz. It allows lots of data, really quick interactions between devices, and it gives a device priority through Wi-Fi settings. So really important that you set that up. If you have something that is streaming a lot of devices or streaming a lot of information, make sure you hook it up to the 5 gigahertz frequency. Settings are the same. I mean, same wireless security that you can do, how strong you want it to be, how not. I will warn you in advance that the setup for 5G frequency is going to be limited. It doesn't go as far out in a radius as a 2.4 gigahertz unless you choose a lower frequency of the 5 gigahertz, which I don't really recommend that because then some devices won't be able to connect to the 5 gigahertz frequency zone. Okay? So we're done with that. Let's get into the security and understanding what NAT is. NAT Boost. NAT Boost allows priority to go through your router, which means when a device is asking information, it immediately shoots it directly out to your internet modem host. Okay. Forwarding, this is like IP forwarding. This is like for like those of you who are gamers and so on and so forth. If you have an Xbox device or a PlayStation and you're wanting to do port forwarding, I recommend you turn on UPnP. It is much easier to use that than for you to selectively set up each port for a game or for a device. It's better to just have the device go into your router and set up that for you and set it up in a way that's secure. There are good things and bad things about this. Good thing is that you know you've opened up the correct port versus the wrong. The bad thing is if someone was to connect to your network, they would be able to open up other ports by sending a UPnP request. Now that's a deep type of hacking and not a lot of people do that, but it still is possible. So yeah, it's better to set up your own ports if you know what you're doing. Again, I stress that if you know what you're doing, but if you don't know what you're doing, please don't do that. Okay, so now let's go to security. This is where I want to get into. A lot of people don't turn on this stuff, and this is why your network gets hacked, okay? Or you have suddenly slow internet, or all of a sudden you'll be streaming and your internet just suddenly drops out, but your internet provider says that you still have internet and stuff like that. It's because A, you had a faulty router, B, someone sent you a DDoS attack, or C, you've been hacked. So going to show you some of these settings here. As you can see, I have SPI firewall automatically enabled, VPN pass-through and stuff like that. If you don't have something that requires these, then you don't need to have them turned on. I would recommend that you have PPTP pass-through turned on and L2TP pass-through. Those are for web cameras. So like if you actually have like a Wi-Fi webcam that is actually connecting and streaming content to a server, you want to make sure you have those through because then it creates a virtual private network to upload that video securely directly to the cloud server. So do have those enabled. You want to have every single one of these enabled because it's going to protect you from different ports that are going to be opened up. Now we're going to go into advanced security. This is where it becomes a little bigger configurations in these routers to protect your information. There's DDoS protection. This protects you, like what I said before, from a DDoS attack. This is someone that's pinging your IP address, which is the public address to your internet, okay? It's pinging it thousands of times and causing a network disruption because they're like, hey, I found this guy, let's just annoy him. So they're going to send tons of packets to you, and your routers to go, I don't know what to do, I don't know, I'm overloaded, and I'm going to shut down. And that's the overloading your system, basically. So enabling DDoS protection is something that a lot of people need to turn on. I know, as you can see up the top, it's warning us that when we do that, we have to go back to the NAT Boost and disable that function. NAT Boost is great to allow lots of content to go in and out real quickly, but if you're experiencing disturbances and hacks and stuff like that, then you want to turn on DOS protection. Flood attack filtering, yes, you can turn that on. UDP flood protection. These are the different type of ports that are opened up. One of the best things to do, especially if you're wanting to be off the grid and off the network and be secured, then you're going to want to do ignore ping packet from the WAN port. That is the port of the actual router to where the information comes into it. If someone's like trying to get an information about you or something like that, and they're pinging your IP address, it will not respond back. That's a good feature, and that's also something you can enable on your router with TP-Link for advanced security. There's also remote management. This allows you to connect to your router outside of your local network. You can do this, but know that when you do this, you raise the risk factor of you being hacked substantially. So always be careful with that. Another one is parental control. Parental control allows you to, let's say you have the MAC address, like we discussed earlier, of a child's cell phone. You want to block specific websites from that cell phone. You can enter in the MAC address in here and save it, and then say, I don't want you to go to this web address. These are the only times you're going to be able to access the internet. You can set up all of those priorities, and you can allow and disallow and all sorts of stuff. So that one you can play with a little bit. For those of you parents who are wanting to control when kids get on the internet, especially if you have a teenager or a cell phone and he's up in the middle of the night on his cell phone for some odd reason, you can obviously go in to your Wi-Fi, set up the MAC address, and shut it, limit it down for you. We can also help you with that, and I'll describe that a little later in the video as we go on to their access rules. These are rules for access control. This is the time, it's a lot like parental control, but it's as a general host. You can set schedules, you can set dates, say Wi-Fi is on at this time, Wi-Fi is off at this for everybody. That's what it is. Okay, advanced routering. This is if you need to create a static IP and you need to do a pass-through through everything. That's what you're going to do. Most of you have home, and those of you who do not have a static IP, I recommend you don't really use that. Bandwidth control. This is where you can set the amount of information that comes in and goes out of your router. Let's say you just want to slow it down, then you can slow it down. If you want to speed it up, you can speed it up. IP and MAC binding, that's if you want to, you don't really need to get into that. Not a lot of people are going to be used that. Dynamic DNS, that's if your IP changes and you want someone else to see it. IPv6, this is a very old port, but at the same time, it's also very new. It's much better than IPv4. IPv4 has been around for a very long time. This is if all of your address pool got full on IPv4, then you have IPv6, which allows millions more connections into your device. And then, of course, you got system tools where you can see the time settings, diagnostic firmware, so on and so forth, backup, all that system logs, the galore. But one of the things we're going to be wanting to go into, I'm going to go back to OSB real quick, go back to this window. One of the things we're going to talk about the most of is a company called OpenDNS. Now, the reason why I'm bringing up OpenDNS is because of multiple reasons. One of them being that OpenDNS is another layer of protection that protects you from any requests that you make out to the internet in the world. For example, let's say you opened up an email at home, and in that email was a virus, and now it's going to send a request out to that hacker server for a certain security key to lock up your computer. Well, before the minute that packet leaves the router automatically forces that information to go to a filtering server. This is another layer of protection. OpenDNS does that. So we're going to talk about that real quick and how we set that up and what it looks like. And here we go. Go right over here. So one of the I'll make sure I put this in the description so everybody can use it. They have a free service called Family Shield. Family Shield allows you to enter a DNS IP address into your router that reroutes all the traffic to their servers. And they have multiple. They have this for businesses, they have it for enterprises, they have this for home. Of course, it's different costs for every single device, but it's really simple. It's simple to do. It's easy, and it works phenomenally well. So what I'm going to do is highlight this, and we're going to go back into our router. We're going to go to our network and then WAN, and we're going to go to use these DNS servers. Now every router is a little different, but most routers allows you to change the DNS settings through the WAN port. If it does not, you can do it inside of the LAN with your DHCP host. So as you see here, there's a DHCP settings, and you have a primary DNS and a secondary DNS, and you can actually put these same IP addresses in there. It's much better to have it inside the WAN port because then it cannot be manipulated. It is forced to do it. Every single device is forced to use that, whether they try to change the DNS or not. So if you don't have one that can do this, then I recommend you go get one. It's not that hard, and you can set it up really easy. So I've entered in that information. We go ahead and click save, and now my network is automatically secured. It is protecting itself from the outside world, and it is a great little device. Now, by doing this, you protect yourself in many different ways. First, you protect yourself internally, because you block different firewalls on the ports that you had opened originally on the phone, on your router. You protect every information that leaves your router, so it goes through a filtering server, so make sure that it's not going to get hacked. The filtering server that I recommend, the OpenDNS one, that is actually a very reputable company. They actually recently got bought by Cisco, and Cisco is actually one of the largest network and internet security and network internet prevention. So it's a lot of P's and I's that I have to say, that protects your businesses and your homes. They create great network products, and they do a great job of whatever they do. So I strongly recommend that if you are needing to use a filtering service, you use something like this. And the reason being is it's going to protect your information leaving your network, and also protect any information that's coming in as well. It's very good for people who do online banking and stuff like that, and I strongly recommend that if you are going to be using any type of online banking, you make sure that you're in router and you go through the steps in this video and make sure your network is safe and secure, including your computer. Now, there'll be another topic inside the next live video that we talk about internet security and securing your actual local devices. That would be your tablets, phones, and computers, but that'll be later on. Today, I just mainly wanted to start with just the number one foundation, which is where your internet comes from and where information leaves your home. Okay, so I appreciate all of you who have spent the time to do that. I appreciate you watching this live video. For those of you who are needing help to set up or install or anything like that, please make sure that you comment below. I will, in a setter description, put my website. We do offer remote support around the world. So if you are needing to have help in setting up and configuring your router, please let us know, and we'll be more than glad to help you that for a very low fee. And we can make sure that your network is secured and everything is working correctly. And again, my name is Bo Edisted with TechShed Co. I appreciate everybody here who is watching and live, and a special thank you for Michael Woodruff for joining me today in putting that little tidbit out there. Be sure to like and subscribe. The more likes and subscribes I get, the more videos I'm able to create for everybody, and I would love for me to continually to do that for everybody. We also have a Patreon page for those of you who are wanting to sponsor us with your gifting as well. That'd be wonderful, because then I can show you some more videos and get some more camera and equipment in here and learn how to do this OBS and switching between browsers a little better. Give me a thumbs up, like that video, and have a wonderful day. And as always, keep it fresh and keep it wonderful, everybody, and keep it safe. Keep your technology good, and we're always here to help.